Alright, our turkey's been in there for a little over half an hour. Let's pull it out and baste it. For this we need oven mitts this time. I won't be an idiot and try and do that with my bare hands again. And the turkey baster. Looking pretty good. We're getting some browning up top already. Part of the key to a good turkey is to baste it often. I go every half hour. Some people package their turkeys, like give it a wrapping. That can work too. I've tried that, but it doesn't work as well as just taking the time to give it a basting every half hour. What this will do is keep the turkey from drying out, and it adds a lot of flavor to the turkey as well, especially later on when the skin starts to crack open a bit. You get that moisture into the turkey, that flavor into the turkey. And here you can see why it was good that we didn't get the stuffing into outside of the turkey, because otherwise the narrow tip on this gets clogged very easily, especially by bits of bread. So if you're wondering how much to baste, it's always better to go more basting than less. I don't have a particular guideline like you must do it 3 complete coats. Maybe that's a good guideline, but I just go until it feels right, being a hippie bachelor cook. Basically, I like to see a good sheen, a good glisten, and that signifies to me that it's done absorbing what I have to give it right now, and it's time to put it back in for another half hour. I also like to put a bit in where the stuffing is, just make sure you don't wash it out of there, but give it some of that turkey fat goodness as well. Each squirt with love. It's starting to look pretty good. Give it one more once over here. That should do. Cover that up again. Alright, it's been another half hour. Let's give this another check. Oh, the skin's starting to stick. That's really starting to look good now, eh? Let's give her another basting. Getting some good browning up top there. Good to see. You can see some of these little bubbles, the effect of us basting it. So some of the grease is getting underneath the skin and tenderizing and flavorizing the meat underneath. So this is, it's not hard to make a turkey, you just have to make sure that you keep it basted for delicious goodness. I find that basting every half hour works best. I used to go for hour-long sequences, but I think that's leaving it too long. It's a bit more of a pain to interrupt everything you're doing. Oh look, I don't know if you can see that, but there's an example of a small piece of onion plugging my baster. Fortunately, it's not too big an issue today. So it can be a bit of a pain to do this every half hour, but it is so totally worth it. All of your guests or friends, if you have any, I don't know if I do, will thank you and ask how you made such tender turkey. This is really all there is to it. This is the secret sauce. You're watching it right now. Keep an eye on your fluid levels. I've still got about 1.5 inches of fats and fluids in the bottom. Later I'll be using that to make a sauce or a gravy, so it's okay to have a bit of an abundance down there, not only for your basting purposes, but also for making gravy later. There is a point where it becomes too much, like if you drown your turkey in water, it'll be a little tasteless. So I try to keep it between 1 and 2 inches in the base of the pan. I'm not going to add any this cycle, but if I see it continuing to go down, because the turkey will absorb some of it evaporates also in the oven as time goes on. I'll top it up with a little bit more filtered water. It's starting to look pretty good. I've got the glisten happening. Give it a couple more doses here. Get some into that stuffing. Actually, I kind of want to show you how that stuffing is looking. Let's turn this around. Hopefully without spilling it. As you can see, stuffing's starting to cook as well. Those onions are starting to look a little bit translucent. It's a good sign that the stuffing is cooking. Make sure that the stuffing gets a bit of the greasy goodness as well, but of course try not to wash it out of there. I can tell you this house is starting to smell pretty good. I have all the stray cats on my porch before too long. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Put that back in the oven. I remarked that the turkey was starting to stick up here, and that can pull this skin off. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil there just to lubricate it. We'll see how that works. Just put a little bit there just to lube it up. We'll cover her up and put it back in the oven. Alright, another half hour's up. She's been in there about, I don't know, an hour and a half. Oh yeah, I think that olive oil trick worked. No sticky stuff to the top. Starting to smell pretty good. Alright, let's baste that up. Starting to get a nice golden tint. I like that. The water that we put in the base initially is starting to get nice and fatty, which really helps with the basting. You can see some of it under the skin there. You can kind of see how it dries out if you don't stay on top of this. I don't know what more I can tell you. This is the secret right here. Just keep basting your turkey every half hour for a moist and delicious tasting Thanksgiving meal. Let's get some of the stuffing there. Make sure we get the wings. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get pretty hungry. Smells so good. I'd say this bird has a couple of hours left to go, but we're certainly seeing signs of progress here. How do you know if your turkey's ready? Well, the skin and the flesh will start to split a little bit and start separating from the bones. You see that a little bit on the drumsticks where the meat is thinner, but we'll start to see it up top here. We'll start to see it split and separate. Usually I give it one more real thorough basting after that and put it in for another half hour when that happens. Another thing you can do is gently tug on the legs. I've got a lot of resistance right now, which means it's not cooked inside. Once it's cooked inside, you'll have hardly any resistance and you can almost pull those legs right off, and that's another sign that probably pretty close to done. As it cooks, it gets thirstier. Just want to make sure that you keep it well lubricated. And it's not possible to overbaste. It's possible to underbaste. So if you're not sure, err on the side of taking a little longer with it than you might think. Give it lots of basting, lots of coats here. You'll be glad you did. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Let's get that back in the oven. Alright, another half hour is up. Check out this little guy. He has been watching it every step of the way. The goldening continues.
You giving that turkey a nice senior whole bath? You squirting on that dead meat?
I'm doing both those things. How am I supposed to eat this turkey now that I'm thinking that it might be a senior in a bathtub? I forget where I'm at. Been drinking way too much wine. Oh yeah, that's looking pretty good. Alright, let's baste that bitch up. Skin's getting nice and golden. Starting to see some sag to the turkey, which means it's getting cooked on the internals. Alright, let's put that back in the oven. Alright, we are getting close. I've even got the chopped up peeled potatoes on the stove, ready to start. It doesn't matter what kind of a delicious feast you make for people. If you forget the mashed potatoes, there's going to be a riot. Alright, we are getting close. That is looking so good. Let's give it the test here. So I can almost pull that bone right off. I would say we're within half an hour of done here. Yeah, it's looking good. We're starting to see the split up top. Nice golden finish. I think we're half an hour ready. So let's give it one last baste. Alright, one more 30-minute cycle. We're ready to slice this up. There's our turkey. It's looking done to me. Let's baste it one more time. First thing I want to do is cut a chunk out of the center of this and just make sure it's cooked all the way through. I think it is, but let's just make sure. Let's go for the deepest point. Oh my god. So good. Yeah, we're done. There you go. That's how you cook up a turkey for feast.
Thank you for watching. If you want to see more content, please hit subscribe. See you next time.